Okay, we can kind of like ad lib the Z-Biotics. I'd like to get paid for this episode.
We're live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey,
We're back.
Yeah, you got to talk right into this thing.
Not that
by
we
the
ever
way.
left.
damn, it's so loud in my ears.
Yeah,
You
it's
got to
so loud.
eat this mic.
Yeah.
You got to eat it.
We're live. Hello,
Guys.
everybody.
We're in Denver.
We're in Denver.
We're in Denver.
Hold up. Let me pull up the YouTube. There it is.
We're right in front of a
Got a link.
live.
There I am. All
It's
right,
a
I'm gonna drop
live-
this link.
There are thousands of people
There's a live audience
at this event.
watching us right here. Dan
At Dan
Simmons is in the
Simmons.
building.
Yeah,
What's
buddy.
up?
Shout out again, Dan Simmons.
Yes.
Our
Yes, sir.
actual first
All right.
live audience. This
I
guy
love it.
just this tech guy just put Dan in charge of our of our mixer.
Yeah, he just left it. That's hilarious. Yeah, Dan, let us know if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, you got this.
You got this.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to keep this short and sweet by our standards because Armand had a little too much to drink yesterday.
What?
And he's been dying,
Who?
throwing up in the parking lot for the last 30 minutes.
Armand, did you
So
you actually puke right before this recording?
No, but I thought about it. I thought about it.
Okay, so last night we went to the Bankless welcome party,
Yeah.
and a lot of Alfalfa crew was there. I peeled off early, but you guys sent it into the wee hours.
Yeah, we had a steak dinner, some wine, some mediocre old fashions.
yeah,
Steven
the
and I
steak was
were
great. The old
very
fashions were-
unhappy
mm.
with the old fashioned.
Okay.
Can you redo that rant of the terrible type of old fashioned that you get at certain particular restaurants?
Yeah, there's this like old way of making old fashions that they do it at like sometimes these like steakhouses where they just give you, and it looks like it looks like, kind of like a Shirley Temple.
Yeah, it's very
And it-
orange.
yeah, and
Oh.
it comes with like a bunch of ice in the glass, and you're just
Yeah.
like, oh no, this is gonna be
It's like
bad.
crushed up ice. Someone just throws it all together, mixes it up, throws like one of those really ultra red cherries in too, like the cheap cherries, and then just goes, "Here's your old fashioned."
Yeah,
Doesn't do it for me.
it's,
Well, you know what helps in situations like this? Z-Biotics.
Did you just rip one, Steven?
that's right. I just ripped the Z-Biotics. I thought I was doing it live on the air. There's a little bit left actually.
Armand, can you do a dry
we
run
go.
on the ad read? Can you?
No, Steven's doing that.
Sure, I'll just improvise this ad read.
Yes. Please do tell us what Z-Biotics is.
Yeah,
Steven.
so longtime listeners of this podcast know that Z-Biotics is the drink that you take before you drink. It's a pre-alcoholic probiotic.
Nice.
Does magic things in your stomach. Helps your body process the what is it? Acetaldehyde.
Yeah,
you go.
that's a
Look
toxin.
at that. Which
It's
is
a
the toxin that gives you that crappy feeling the next day. I had one of these yesterday. I drank copious amounts of beer and woke up this morning and was able to survive. Armand would have been dead, I think,
Yeah.
without his, like actually no longer with us.
That would have been bad.
Dude, great job on that ad read, man.
Thank you. If you guys want to check out ZBiotics, zbiotics.com/alfalfa. Get a little promotion with your first order there.
Yep,
15% off.
15%, baby.
15%
Use
off.
our code.
Yes, I am on nice monthly auto ship for these things, so
Cool.
Excellent. You've been
make my
enjoying
life
your
make my life better.
so you've got your pre-alcohol drink, and then what about your breakfast? Tell us about your breakfast. You've been enjoying your Magic Spoon.
Yes. Actually, I bought a shipment of Magic Spoon
Yeah,
as
me
well.
too.
Magic Spoon, lovely new sponsor of the show. They make all of your favorite, versions of the nostalgia for your favorite kids' breakfast cereals.
Loops. Peanut butter.
I love the frosted.
Yeah, they taste like things that are familiar. I don't know if we can name them by name, but
Sorry, I just did.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It's all right. Well, we'll just have to edit that out in post. Anyway, yeah, Magic Spoon is awesome. It's part of a kind of healthy lifestyle. You don't want a bunch of sugar with your cereal, like me, like high in protein, a bunch of good stuff in there. So definitely check that out. I think it's magicspoon.com, and I think the code is also Alfalfa for that one.
Yep.
right.
I think it's like 14 grams protein, 15, some of them.
Yeah,
And
actually,
like only 4 or 5 grams of net carbs.
yeah,
So if you care about
magicspoon.com/alfalfa. You get $5 off your order, and if you don't like it, they will refund you, no questions asked. Also, for our international friends, unlike some of our previous sponsors, these guys ship to Canada and the UK as well,
Score.
which is great for some of you guys out there. Thank you to Magic Spoon for joining the team. for sponsoring the show. Check it out, guys. This stuff is freaking delicious.
Hell yeah.
All right.
You know what else is delicious?
Tell me.
$64,000 Bitcoin.
That is so delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's been a ride.
Guys,
wild ride.
I'd like to cheers you. You have Gatorade. You just puked in the parking lot. I want to cheers to 64,000
I
Bitcoin.
tell you, this Gatorade tastes amazing right now. Yeah, that's remarkable. That's really remarkable.
So this is our third ETHDenver as a podcast now, and we've basically run the whole gamut of ETHDenvers. Like last time we came here, I think ETH was about the same price. Well, excuse me, the first time we came here, I think ETH was probably roughly the same price as it is today. But we were on the downturn, right? And some of us were short, some of us were still delusional about, the world that was about to come. And then last year, of course, was just, we had already blown it out, and we were seeing green shoots, and we're getting a little more optimistic. I know we interviewed Ledger, had some technical issues with that pod, but Ledger told us how optimistic he was, and it turns out that he was very, very correct, because
he was great.
We had long passed the worst of it since then, and now it's been great. Like the ETH weekly chart it's just so beautiful. It's just like green candle, green candle, green candle, just a steady, relentless climb to that $3,600 level, and then hopefully to all-time highs and beyond.
All right, what's your prediction for when we hit all-time highs?
What date?
Yeah.
Oh, sometime this year.
Oh, come on.
I have no idea.
Well, it's called a prediction.
Well, I think we go all-time highs on Bitcoin before we hit all-time highs on ETH.
Tomorrow?
I'm calling in the next 2 months.
It's reasonable. I mean, if we get ETH ETF in May, then
it's over. Yeah.
So May. May.
I'm not really bullish on the ETF getting approved in May. God bless you, Steven.
thank you.
I'm not really bullish on ETF getting approved in May. The deadline, I think, is August for BlackRock's ETF approval. So I'm guessing August, but maybe May.
I like to be an optimist
Yeah.
with May.
Do you guys remember also on our Ledger episode 1 year ago today, in this exact spot, we said that Coinbase was probably the best buy in all of crypto? And I just want to pat us on the back, all of us. Dude, Coinbase has fucking mooned since that call.
We couldn't have emphasized it anymore.
Yeah. Armand, I think you got the lowest entry price. You were like in the 30s.
Initially, and then most of it was in the 60s.
Still pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I think was about $50 or high 40s on my entry, so
Yeah.
pretty
Amazing.
pretty happy with
Amazing.
that.
It
Yeah.
hasn't even started. It's a $30 billion market cap.
Okay,
company.
here's what I want to say with that. So like, I have like clients in TradFi, right? And these clients have fresh cash coming in all the time, and they're like, where should we put this money? What's the best thing to buy? And I'm looking at the Nasdaq and like stock land, and I see like Nvidia at $800. I think it's a good stock, fine. But Nvidia at all-time highs, compare that to a Coinbase that has like great growth prospects itself, still less than 50% of its all-time highs.
Right.
To me, like crypto like ETH, Bitcoin, crypto stocks still represent the best value that you can buy right now. And that's
Right
like
now.
that's where I'm deploying money for clients.
Currently, yeah. If you'd asked me this a year or two ago, if you had this conversation, it would be different. But right now, yeah, forward-looking, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's difficult to beat. I mean, I've started, I told you guys, I started buying ETH.
I love ETH.
Yeah, I love ETH. And IBIT, obviously. But
course.
like, typical investment account stuff.
Yeah.
But the move is to buy ETH, wait till the, ETF gets approved for ETH. It'll convert, essentially, right? And then I will probably swap for a lower cost.
Like a BlackRock version.
Exactly. And I'll just pay the taxes on that gain from
Right.
now till then. And then that's more of like a set it, forget it, hold long term.
This is the way, sir.
Yeah.
Play.
Play. And I look at that as like buying, like I think it'll outperform maybe even Coinbase in the short term.
So here's another thing, like ETH trading at a discount to its NAV, to its like its assets.
That too. That's a big piece too.
It's like a 9% discount to NAV right now.
Yeah, I just don't think it's like a great play because you if it gets approved, we're gonna rip. Like I think ETH rips like past 5K pretty quickly, and then you're gonna immediately pay this like fat short-term gain and then roll it into something else, but you'll have like eaten away like 30, 40, 50% of that
Right.
taxes like
California
right
taxes.
off the bat.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
California. so
But like,
it's like a cool play, I think, if you have an account where like there's just nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
But like if you can just buy Ethereum.
guys,
of
paying
course.
taxes is a good problem. It means you made money. That's good.
Yeah, paying unnecessary taxes though. Nobody likes that.
So instead of ETH, you would just buy spot ETH in like a crypto account.
Yeah.
Definitely, if you can. This was for funds that already existed in the account. But I was like, I would rather be an ETH.
Yeah, there's a lot more money in TradFi looking
Yeah.
to get exposure.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but I was posting in the Discord today. Like I keep getting the same text from my friends and family,
What's
which
the text?
is like the text is basically like, "Hey there, so I've got this Bitcoin, and it's like gone up a lot. Like, should I sell it? Should I sell it? I've gotten 4 of these now in the last like 4 or 5 days.
Okay, so this goes to your point that everyone has PTSD. Like everybody is looking to get out instead of looking to ride.
Yeah, like I didn't get this at the start of last cycle. Like there were no like, oh, should I sell now? It was like we kind of ripped past all-time highs, and then people were like, oh god, do I buy? Do I buy? Do I buy? Nobody has like texted me and been like, should I buy? Everybody's like, should I sell? And I'm just
Right.
always like, what the
I feel like
hell
there's
are you
an
talking
easy
about?
answer for that. I think last cycle was the first mainstream cycle. So there's way more people that are looking to break even and or capture profits than there were before. The previous cycle was only for like hardcore crypto people. So the people that would have looked to sell in the last cycle were far and few between. They would have bought, in like they would have started in like 2013, like when I did, And when 2017 rolled around, they were like, I'm not selling anything.
So let me ask you guys how would you respond to these texts? How are you responding to these texts?
Look, I don't like to give people financial advice. It's just such like a lose-lose situation. I'm just like, look, you do what you want, but like
Here-
from my perspective, you are on like the verge of like a generational shift in this like asset class that is going to quite literally be like a once in a lifetime thing. Like there's never going to be another time where like this asset class is just birthed into the mainstream, like is happening like right now before our eyes. Like we have an
and-
ETF now. There's just like a half
no going
a
back.
billion a day just flowing into Bitcoin.
God.
Like, relentlessly, day after day after day. Like the Bitcoin ETFs like are already like 65% of the value, I think, of like gold
Can I
ETFs. Like
can I
after
just
like
give you a
month.
stat? Can I give you a stat from yesterday from IBIT, the BlackRock ETF? It had the most net inflows, the second most net inflows of any ETF ever yesterday. More than in the day that it launched.
Yeah.
So it's accelerating even.
Yeah.
And the daily volumes, they're blowing away like the largest ETFs in the world. Like these these spies, like the S&P and Nasdaq, they're getting destroyed lately by the Bitcoin ETF volume. And like banks they're salivating over this. Like these guys who make money just on like assets under management and fees, like trading volume, they're looking at this going like, oh my god, like we gotta get more of these.
Yeah.
We're gonna get our levered ETF out there. We're gonna get an ETH ETF out there, and they're already looking past ETH. Like I'm sure like ETH in their minds is like sort of like a foregone conclusion. It's like a when, not if. And now the
Right.
question is moved to like
What
they're just
next?
looking at this like long tail of assets, and it's just like gold mine after gold mine after gold mine after gold mine for these guys. And like you have this like alignment of incentives between like us and the banks right now. It's sort of like an unholy alliance, I guess, but like they want this stuff listed and they want to shill it to all of their customers. And like we kind of want that because we have the bags and we want to
Number go up.
yeah, we want number go up. Some of us want to just, dump on, grandma and grandpa, but other people are, just in it for the long haul. We just want that number to go up and go higher.
So
And
let me ask you guys. I think we talked about this on a previous pod, but can you just play the rotation game? Like you play the BTC ETF, and then you play the ETH one next, and then you play the Sol one after that, or the Ripple or whatever comes next.
I think so.
Is that like a reasonable strategy?
I think we don't have the indicators yet to know for sure that it'll have. Whoa, hello, with. But I mean, that's the play, right? Like that's obviously like the
People
meetups
love
of
the
May.
rotation. People love the rotation game.
Yeah, did you hear that?
rotators in the audience. I love that.
I think so. I mean, is that how you're gonna play it?
Well, I'm definitely going to play the ETH rotation, and after that, I don't know, but for sure that I'm playing the ETH rotation right now.
The most interesting rotation right now, I think, is actually we're kind of going back to a Solana rotation. I think.
God, did you see the move Solana made yesterday relative
Yeah.
to ETH and Bitcoin? It's like
Yeah.
insane.
Solana's still a thing, and I think Solana, in my opinion, is still going to outperform ETH and just like a raw gains basis for this cycle. Like
Yeah.
as always, like the question is sort of like how much risk do you want to take on for that trade? I think ETH is like an amazing trade because you can just size it you just size it to the moon. Like you put your whole net worth in, and if you're really crazy,
Yeah.
and it's not going to go to zero on you, and it's probably not going to eat like 70% drawdowns in the middle of the cycle on you. But like
Yeah.
some of these altcoins, they could be pretty nasty to the downside.
I posted a quote in our Discord this morning from Stan Druckenmiller, and he goes like, "The way you get rich is you don't lose money, and then you hit home runs. And when you find that fat pitch, you swing as hard as you can." And like I think ETH represents that to me right now. It's like this fat pitch that I can put an irresponsible amount of my portfolio into.
I I sort of agree, and like I've been pounding the table on ETH for a while, and I think it does have more room to run. But it becomes very interesting, like if we're in April and ETH is at like $4,000, you're basically playing this like extreme game of like high stakes chicken, where you're sort of coin flipping. Like if the ETF gets approved in May, then like this thing is just gonna mega god candle. But if it doesn't happen, like the market is probably going to punt it for a bit and you are going to eat a loss there, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting question. Like if crypto itself is still mega bullish, like if Bitcoin is still like getting massive flows into the ETFs and like alts are starting to move, it does like that sort of like barbell strategy that people have talked about, which is sort of like, Bitcoin and Solana, or Bitcoin and, a basket of coins that are sort of in the
Small caps.
yeah, or you could just kind of do like a Bitcoin, AI coin, Solana, ETH killer type things. Like that becomes like an interesting play because like I don't think Solana is going to take a hit if the ETH ETF gets denied in the same way that ETH will. So it's going to be like a awkward situation, I think. Now I'm of the mindset that it is approved in May.
You know what goes up regardless of all this? Doge.
Oh
Doge.
yeah, baby.
Can we
Yes.
talk about Doge?
You guys literally just talked me into Doge at breakfast, so I haven't
Yeah,
bought
we
it
had
yet.
we had a good meme coin chat at
Dude,
breakfast.
it's obvious.
I'm Doge to the moon now.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Who doesn't want to be? Like,
There's no way Doge doesn't go to $1 this cycle. It's just like
What a
it's just written
easy-
in the stars.
There's never been an easier like 5x.
Solid 10x from here.
5x is conservative. Like
right.
5x is not even all-time highs, is it? What didn't go to like 70 cents?
70s.
It's at like 10 cents now.
Yeah. So it's you got to be good for it. And when Doge moves, it moves very fast. Like
Yeah.
you just have to kind of get in, and then it just one monthly God can. It's not even like a monthly God can. It's like a weekly God can.
Yeah, it happens in a week.
It's crazy. Like the chart's so funny. It's just like flat line and moon.
But
and death.
imagine the violent move off of $1. It'll just
Yeah.
fucking hammer you back down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gonna
I
have to
mean,
get out.
that's going to be an interesting level. It's going to be one of the more interesting levels in the history of all financial assets. Like the $1 level for Doge, it's like such a final boss
Yeah.
number. But like, I'm sure once we blast through $1, people will just
I-
be like,
it-
why not 10?
I know. People will just be like, "Oh, well, this is here forever." Then, like, it'll just maintain this.
Yeah.
I would take profits though.
I mean, memes in general have been crushing. Like Bonk is almost back to all-time highs right now. I think it was up 28% on the day when I last checked it. Pepe is running very, very hard. And I think there's actually like an interesting question for those of us who do buy into this idea that like meme coins are sort of like an asset class that like should make up some small percentage of your portfolio. Like I'm actually betting on Pepe outperforming.
Okay, can I make a?
these coins
Never
at the
gonna happen.
moment?
Can I ask a question?
Not
I'm
gonna
I'm kind of like making an analogy in my mind because I don't shit coin like you or meme coin like you. Could you make like a separate asset entirely where like Doge is the Bitcoin of meme coins and then like Shiba is the Ethereum or something like Pepe is like the Solana or something like
I
that.
think Bonk is the Solana.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But like, I guess like, is that how you're viewing this? Like, you can go into a Doge for like safe meming, safe meme coining, and then like you can go further out on the risk curve on these like smaller,
that.
shittier ones.
I mean, that's one take.
I don't know. I'm
guess.
asking.
I don't know. I guess Doge is the quote unquote safe meme coin, and everything else is
Kind of, right?
more speculative. I think
like
you
the
can
original.
size. I think you can size more on Doge if you want to, because it's got so much Lindy. It's been around forever.
How much do you actually size on a Dogecoin in your portfolio?
I think I have like 1% of my portfolio in Doge right now.
Do you think that's high, Armand?
Not enough.
I feel like that's super high.
Yeah, that's high.
I think if you're bullish on Doge, owning zero Pepe is very silly. Like I think you have to at least go like 80-20. But like
Nobody knows what Pepe is.
Armand,
outside of crypto.
I am on the air right now, willing to make a wager with you that.
All right. What's the wager?
Pick a date. What do you want to pick a date in the future? 6 months, a year?
What's the bet?
The bet is that Pepe outgains Doge. The thing that you just said 5 minutes ago will never ever happen, I believe.
It depends on what time frame.
Pick a time frame.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have a cop out on the air right now.
I don't think
cop out.
Armand was calling for that at breakfast either.
Yeah.
That's literally what he said. He said there's literally no way Pepe outpaces Doge. Nobody knows about Pepe. By the way, the idea that nobody knows about Pepe is ridiculous. Like the Pepe meme is a very, very like enormous meme in internet culture that sort of transcends even crypto.
Does it?
No,
Is
it
like,
doesn't.
Is it like a Reddit thing? Or?
Absolutely does.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does.
Like
All right.
I only learned about it in
Got
crypto.
grandpa over here telling me how the fucking internet works. Meme culture.
Ask anyone outside of crypto if they know what Pepe is.
Armand just started
What are you
using
talking
Twitter,
about?
dude.
Have you heard of this website called 4chan?
Nobody, no non-internet nerd knows what 4chan is.
No non-internet nerd. I'm saying like memes are internet culture.
I know. And Doge is mainstream. Doge
I'm
was
being gaslit
Doge
right now.
to the moon on
Being gaslit
Saturday Night
so hard.
Live. Okay, I'll say what I said at breakfast. I just don't have the energy to debate you right now. What I said at breakfast is very clear. Like, I'm just kind of taking it right now.
Yeah, you're just gonna puke.
Yeah. I just can't. I'm just sweating. Look, what I'm saying is very simple. Like, when you look at Doge is something that Elon said, like Doge to the moon on Saturday Night Live. My barber knows what Doge is. Everybody knows what Doge is. Doge is going to outperform for that reason. The one that's going to rip when mainstream gets back involved in crypto and is looking for something that's going to send is going to buy Doge. That's what every normie buys when they buy crypto. First of all, most of them don't even know how to fucking buy Pepe.
It's
Okay?
true.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not even possible to buy it.
First
So,
of
like,
all-
I can log into my Robinhood and I can buy Doge. Can I do that with Pepe?
Do you really
Wrong.
think Pepe's not going to be on Robinhood
I
at
didn't
some
say
point
it
this
won't
cycle?
be. I said,
And do you think
right
that as an
now, that's what's
investor,
gonna
maybe
rip.
buying a coin before you know it's going to be listed on Coinbase and Robinhood, would you say that would be like a smart idea?
Those are different topics now. You're talking about which one should I buy and blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is that Doge has the mainstream brand power. Pepe does not.
Explain why your logic applies to Doge, but it doesn't apply to the reason that does Bitcoin not have the most? Why does Bitcoin not outpace Ethereum and Solana?
Can I
Bitcoin
first-
has the most brand power.
Can I commend Armand first for pulling together and like that like cohesive sentence? Because I can see you sweating. You're sweating profusely.
When he has to get into it with me, he really just rises to the occasion. You know?
I was like
No, I
MJ
had a
Game
whole-
6.
I had a whole, yeah, the flu. I had a
game.
whole internal talk with myself. I'm like, bro, you're getting grilled right now. You're not saying anything. My brain was like trying to put words together. Oh my god. This happened exactly the same when we interviewed Ledger.
Oh
We
yeah,
were
just
all hungover.
so hungover.
Yeah, this place is a trap.
Well, it's
Denver with
altitude.
the altitude, man. It's a trap.
Yeah.
I'll just bet you a friendly steak dinner at Cowboy Star. End of year, 2024. From this day,
Mm-hmm.
that Pepe outperforms Doge.
So on that day, the
Yes.
gain from now till then.
As of the close of December 31st, 2024.
Are those?
Day,
Is that clear? Because he always finds a way to like read
let's do
between
it.
some lines.
Opening day, opening price tomorrow, closing price December 31st.
That's like
And
one
the percentage
GMT.
gain.
Something.
Yes.
I think this is a win-win bet. I like these because either way, you get to have a dinner with your friend.
Yeah, and either way, the audience is very entertained.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Team
they're on.
Pepe. Team Pepe, Team Doge.
They're
All
on.
right,
There it
you're
is.
on.
Choose your fighter.
I'm gonna buy Doge, so I'm Team Doge.
See, I just won. Go find. Where are your buyers?
My buyers are out there, man.
I know they're out there. I actually think Steven's
They
gonna win.
don't
this
even
one.
know how to buy it.
Just like I think the smaller cap
Sounds so
wins
fucking
in
Obviously,
bullish.
percentage.
that
Like,
makes sense.
in
I can buy
percentage
this
terms.
You have a
coin
clear
before everybody
advantage.
even knows how to buy it.
Yeah.
Could not be more bullish.
You have a clear advantage.
It's
there.
the same reason why Solana outperforms ETH this cycle. It's like the
Yeah.
smaller coin wins in percentage terms.
Not much less so the case in memes, right? Like in memes, like the smaller coin just goes to zero most of the time, right?
Yeah, that's another risk.
Like memes are they're ugly asset class. We didn't talk about dog with
I
hat,
think
though.
what's
That's
gonna
kind of
happen
like
with-
the real winner so far, right?
That's right.
The reason I'm taking Doge is because I believe long term it's going to have sustainable growth, and I think Pepe is going to have these like crazy wicks and moments where you'll look at me and you'll be like, "Dude, I won," and I'll be like, "No, wait for the end of the year." And in overall percentage terms between now and then, I still think
Pepe
Which
to
is-
69 billion.
like
And
I think it'll have a
imagine-
moment where it rips like
Programmed.
that, you know?
Like imagine Armand's gonna be up 7x on his money this year in Doge. He's not gonna be upset paying for a dinner. You know, like this is gonna be great.
It'll
for,
be okay.
Great for both of you guys.
It'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's up.
We said
next. Like,
we said Cowboy Star, right?
we said Cowboy Star.
All
Yeah.
right. That's a
Shout out
requirement.
Cowboy Star, San Diego.
They might as well be our sponsor.
You guys are
Definitely brought them up.
giving too many shout outs for a non-sponsor.
I know
Well-
we're just giving away the milk over here.
That's how it starts.
All right. So what else did we talk about over breakfast? We were obviously very bulled up, and we've already moved past like, all right, yeah, sure, Bitcoin's going to go to 200K, whatever. What else do we buy? And you were getting very horny over NFTs.
Oh yeah, brother.
A lot of you see
Obvious
you
play.
see a lot of opportunity in
Just
NFT
when you
land.
start talking it out with your friends, when you have that moment at breakfast, like it was just like the conversation itself naturally went to NFTs. You start thinking about your bag going up. You start thinking about having more ETH, and you're looking at that and you're saying like, okay, now what? And immediately the first thing you start thinking about is NFTs. You don't necessarily want to take the ETH or the money out of the system. You want to flex, and you immediately start speculating on like what you want to own, and you're like, ooh, maybe I'll get a CryptoPunk or something like that. And the conversation always goes there. People get rich in crypto, they buy NFTs. Which NFTs it'll be this time, TBD. But
Well,
like,
can we start with the lowest hanging fruit? Because I feel like the universe has been compelling me to buy back the CryptoPunk that I sold in 2021.
You sold like basically you sold in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
And
It's like
floor,
we're still
floor as
here.
of today, I think was 58.69.
Yeah, so I
Nice.
could like get back in it even.
I like it. Like it. Look, like
I don't
what,
think you're gonna hate.
What better setup could you want?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think
my only issue with that right now is that like the liquid restaking tokens for ETH are so juicy that like I'm giving up not like 30 something percent APYs on top of the points to hold this fucking JPEG. I do believe in the JPEG. I do believe in CryptoPunks for sure.
I kind of feel like everybody's thinking like you right now, and I kind of feel like after this whole restaking thing sort of comes to pass, all this ETH is suddenly going to be like free to do degenerate stuff. Like everybody's like, oh wow, I can hold ETH and make like 30, 40, 50% on like farming points or whatever. But like once that comes to pass and ETH is like ripped, like suddenly everybody's gonna, what are they gonna do? They're probably gonna buy OP and ARB and like L2s, high beta stuff like that. Then they're probably gonna start buying NFTs. And like if you think ETH is going as high this cycle as I do in crypto in general, like people are gonna get very, 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 very rich. And when people get very, very rich, they want to flex and they're gonna buy stupid crap again.
And there's nothing better to flex than a stupid fucking watch, or you can have a multi-million-dollar JPEG, and people are going to want the multi-million-dollar JPEG.
Yeah, there's something about
It's
how
such a fuck you statement.
yeah how fucking redacted it is to own this multi-million-dollar JPEG. That's what makes it so beautiful. It's like
It is. And if you consider that the floor will be like 150, 200, and that ETH will be like 10K.
yikes. Yeah.
So we were talking about some collections specifically as well, other than
Other than
punks, which
right.
like I'm considering getting another punk as well.
We're talking
actually.
about your barbarian.
Yeah, we were talking about curio cards, which are down very bad.
down only.
Got a lot of people last cycle, myself included.
Yeah, they got me.
They had a certain allure to them, the historical prestige. But there's some interesting cards. Like I told you specifically like how like I own a barbarian card, and I think the barbarian is like super interesting
The
because it's
first
like the
ever-
first animated NFT like on Ethereum.
Yeah.
And I was looking. Somebody bought one for like 5 ETH 4 months ago, which I think is going to go down as like one
That
of the
was
most
unbelievable.
insane buys ever.
And at
And
its
even
peak-
right now, like somebody's asking, I think 25 ETH for this card,
Yeah, to
which
be
is
clear,
basically like a
they
pudgy
don't-
penguin.
They don't sell, but
No.
But
they
at the
will.
at the peak of last cycle, there were like 200 ETH for the barbarian.
Somebody paid 196 at the top.
Yeah.
Rip to that guy.
Well, I was looking at like random ones, like the yellow card. You can buy that for 2 ETH right now, and they were consistently trading just 1 year ago in the bear market for 25 ETH.
Yeah, the yellow card is interesting because it has a little more volume. There's like a little more liquidity
Yeah,
on
you
it.
want-
Like
you
there's
want li- you want
sales,
volume.
which is kind of nice. Like these rare ones, like the barbarian.
They
and
don't get sold.
what is it? The wizard and the
Yeah.
the bard. They don't.
You want like a
sell as much.
mid-tier, or what I love is the Mona Lisa. You get a ton of volume
You
on
get the
that.
Mona Lisa, you get the
I-
apple, the
yeah,
first
the
one.
apple's
the
probably a
Mona
really
Lisa
good
is
one.
a cool.
Mona Lisa, I
Card.
think, is
think-
like cheap enough for a lot of people to buy.
Yeah.
I think it's like 0.1, 0.2 right now.
Damn.
I mean, yeah, that's I,
think-
don't know. And so the argument for buying something like that is that last cycle, what happened is you are stepping into the arena and you're like, okay, NFTs, what are these? And then the first thing you do is you start to like read about them, talk about them, and people go, well, these ones have, they're like historical artifacts. And it's like, whoa, which one was first? And it's like, oh, was it Curio? Was it Punks? Whatever. And then people go, oh, I think it was Curio. And then that has a narrative around it. And so you buy for that reason. I think the next thing will happen with all the new entrants to the market in this cycle, where people will show up, they'll buy ETH, they'll make money on their ETH, and they'll be like, I'm rich, bitch. What do I buy? Ooh, I want the first ever NFT. That's
And
the
then you
narrative.
dump on them.
I mean,
So
We'll see.
you're a mutant ape bag holder.
oh yeah, that
You think
thing's
ape-
gonna
you
rip
think
like
apes-
crazy.
I think apes are just. I hate apes.
I know, but like,
think they're the
it's not
worst.
about that. It's about the
because-
money.
I just
sometimes.
don't think they're cool, and I kind of feel like people
No, I
generally
think-
don't think they're like.
Because
NF
you're a CryptoPunk guy, and those two things are like tennis and pickleball. Like
Yeah,
you
it's-
can only like one.
I don't know, man. Like art and culture is like a funny thing. Like if something becomes like not cool, like it's just dead. Like it can just become like just dead, like very very quickly.
It's very cool to a certain type of person.
Yeah, not cool person.
That's your version of cool.
It's
I don't
just
care.
your opinion, man.
I'm buying an asset. I'm buying an asset. I don't give a fuck about like, do I like this?
I think if you buy an ape instead of a penguin, then you need to have your head examined. I think you should
I-
sell your. I think you should sell your mutant and just buy a pudgy.
I think there's no way it outperforms.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
You want another bet?
Yeah,
Wager.
I'll make another wager.
I think punks, apes with their mutants are gonna rip.
No, penguins. Penguins will always have a special place in my heart.
I think I'm gonna go Team Steven on this one.
Yeah?
I'm like just like
Okay.
a judge.
Go with
I'm gonna go
penguin?
Team Steven. I'm gonna go little pudgies instead of mutants.
Yeah.
All right,
What are they at?
Joshua in the chat just asked, "We're still buying Trumps." I'm glad you brought that up, Josh, because
Oh man, we
Oh,
were
that
talking
was
about that too.
That was a subject. Of
we were
breakfast.
also talking about that at breakfast. Yeah, I saw Trump cards dip back down below 0.2 ETH. They were above 0.3 for a bit. They
think
went
I'm
up like
gonna buy.
150% over my entry, and they've dipped. But that seems like a super obvious play to me.
Yeah, it
I think
does.
Trump wins. I think the whole election cycle ends up being like mega bull for crypto. I think Trump plays into the Pepe meme as well. Like
Wait,
there's
was that
like a lot of
Josh?
overlap there.
Josh asking just from the crowd because that Josh is right behind us.
Yeah.
Let's go. Trump cards for Josh.
So, yeah, super bullish to Trump cards, and I love that they're Polygon NFTs. They're closer to altcoins. There's like 40,000 of them, and then you can trade them with no gas and everything, which I think is nice.
That's awesome.
I actually really liked buying them. It was like so easy.
Where'd you buy them?
I bought them on OpenSea on Polygon. Just,
Damn, OpenSea's still alive?
Dude, isn't who's coming out with the token? Blur? No,
Blur's got a token.
it's got a token.
they already have. No, someone
been
else.
showing that
is.
one for a while.
Yeah, we like Blur.
No,
we like
no,
the
not
Blur.
that one. No, there's a different platform that's
Magic
anyway.
Eden.
OpenSea, like biggest failure of all time, is not having a token. Like they lost the market for that.
We just always knew they were gonna fail though, because they everybody just thought they sucked. Like people didn't like them. They they didn't vibe with the culture.
Culture.
They're always like fighting. I don't know. Like you just kind of knew they were gonna get wrecked.
They didn't add those features like the startup NFT marketplaces added like the floor bid on the whole collection. You know, like just like little things that OpenSea never incorporated into their platform.
Yeah. I'm
Who's
just looking at the crowd.
Get a pan to the crowd.
great people
No,
watching.
we cannot get a pan to the crowd. Unfortunately, the camera's way over there. I mean,
Thousands,
I guess I could walk over, physically pick it up, and turn it, but I'm gonna break the whole stream. if I do
thousands
that.
of people behind
I
us.
was admiring the man's jacket.
I like to imagine everybody in this crowd is actually just listening to us right now with their
Yeah,
headphones on.
there are literally thousands.
Yeah, literally thousands. Dozens of us. Dozens. Anyway, what else is on your mind now? Like I know I'm curious your take, because like I am obviously a trader. I like eat, breathe, live this shit. And then you are interesting to me because you are the person who loves the space and is sort of deep in it, but has like 1 foot in like the real world and then 1 foot in crypto. But I've seen the excitement returning to your eyes. You've been talking about buying stuff, and like what are some of your burning questions right now as like a casual investor that you're trying to kind of think through for yourself?
I mean, like the play of borrowing some ETH on Aave.
Yes, I'm
was
so
an
glad you brought that
interesting
up.
one.
Let's talk about this strategy.
I think it's a really interesting strategy, and it was specifically about, so you borrow ETH on Aave against your ETH. So we were talking through like the downsides of that, which are you just lose your ETH.
To buy NFTs.
Yeah, you specifically buy NFTs where
The
you think
benefits
you can,
being that you don't have to sell your ETH, realize some sort of gain, and buy the NFT, right? You
Yeah.
can sort of borrow ETH against your ETH. You're not going to get liquidated because you're borrowing like.
So that's an important point. You can't get liquidated if you borrow ETH against ETH.
But you are like levering some exposure up to crypto in a way. So obviously this is a not like you're not a good play for like mom and dad.
right.
But we have a lot of DJs who listen to us, and this is certainly well within their wheelhouse. And I think it's an interesting play because I do think a lot of these NFTs are going to rip versus ETH. Like you got me thinking about that yellow card just sitting there at like 2 ETH. and
Yeah, bro. Like
selling for like 100 ETH like a year ago.
Couple yellow cards.
It's very enticing.
You sell those for 25, 50 ETH in a year.
Well, you're playing the NFT game to make more ETH, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
You're
that's the
accumulating.
whole thing anyway. So
It's a
And-
beautiful little game.
And by borrowing, you don't have to sell your ETH, so you still participate in ETH upside.
Right.
Right.
You still have all your ETH. Yeah. Yeah.
This
Then
is
you
a-
and then you can pay it off. Like you sell the NFTs.
So
pay off the loan.
you're probably paying like a 6% borrow cost or whatever, 6 to 8%, whatever that is.
that's probably not that high.
5?
Maybe it is now because of the airdrop stuff going on, but I think the ETH borrow rate probably settles below the ETH staking rate. So
But
if you're borrowing against like Steth, then your net rate is actually going to be positive still because
Wow.
you're earning on the
I
ETH.
can't see that, but either way, even if it was like 7%, let's say, I still think that buying these NFTs outperforms the borrow cost. So like I'm cool with it even at a higher borrow cost.
I mean, if it didn't, it would be the stupidest.
Well, let's talk about the downside
of all.
too, because like let's say that the NFT doesn't moon, it goes down.
Yeah.
Like let's say the NFT goes to 0. Well, you haven't actually lost anything because if you had just bought it, then you would have lost your ETH anyway.
You haven't lost anything
Right.
relative to what you would have done anyway.
Right. That's what I mean.
You've obviously lost ETH in both instances,
Yes.
but
Lost ETH,
you're
but
saying it's like the same outcome, but you're not selling your
Right.
original ETH bag.
Yeah. So in the first scenario where you don't borrow, you're losing the ETH anyways.
you're losing the ETH, and in this scenario now you owe.
Yeah, you got to pay off your loan,
pay
so
off a
you lose
loan.
the ETH. Yeah.
You lose the ETH in a different way. I like it.
I like
Gets
it
my
too.
Jimmy
Like
going.
if you want to play the NFT game, and it's a fun game, and like it's definitely a game that you can beat if you've got the skills. Like it's a good way to rinse and also destroy.
Let's make
delete
it
ETH.
simple.
I look at it as a good way to just like accumulate and compound your ETH.
Let's make it simple for
That's the goal anyway.
Let's make it simple for the smooth brains. Downside same, upside higher.
That's what you want in life. You
Right?
want to make those trades.
So you're saying
Lowest
you're
downside,
saying I can't
asymmetric
lose.
upside.
No, downside same means you
Downside
can
same.
still lose.
Too late.
This literally
Yeah.
can't go tits up.
I heard Eric say no downside.
100% risk free. No, please, please don't do that.
Yeah, so I like that, and obviously, as a casual, yeah, obviously, things get exciting because these narratives spin up really quickly. Like, is it going to be L2s all of a sudden, or what's coming next? Is gaming going to finally be like, or not finally, but again be a thing, and in a different way? Like, what are the narratives going to be? Where are the metas?
Do you own any AI coins?
No.
Okay. So
That
that
could
do you
definitely
feel
be a
like
thing.
do you feel like that should be a thing you should have in your portfolio, even as like a casual?
I don't know enough about that.
Like maybe you have enough exposure just in your normal life.
My whole life is exposed. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I still think that even if you don't know anything, but you want exposure to a sector, like you can always just buy the biggest thing in the sector and kind of be exposed to it and just be
Okay.
like, all right, like I don't have
I
the.
think you're better
I
off
can't pick
for
winners.
now buying Nvidia or Microsoft.
Ooh, okay, hold
I
on.
think
Let's,
there's no way Nvidia.
let's table that.
outperforms this
But
stuff, though.
I like this.
No,
I like
not
this.
that stuff in the future, but
I like this conversation because the way Steven framed it initially speaks to me because I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like to go as deep as Steven into the shittiest coins. I like to pick the dominant one of a segment. So right now that might be Render or something. That's like probably the highest market cap of all these AI coins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Tau has flipped it BitTensor. So Render Tau are kind of like the
The 1 and 2.
yeah.
So for me, my style would be if I want exposure to this, I would buy those in equal weighting, and I wouldn't go shittier than that. But then to Armand's point, I would also consider why not just own stuff that I'm more familiar with, Nvidia, Microsoft, stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like if you're in
AMD,
crypto,
we don't talk about AMD enough, but all time,
if you are in
really
crypto and you're trying to like 100x shit, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're a degen. Then this is like a good sector to look for that. Like given that you're in crypto and given that you're like I don't know, like I'm not saying that this replaces like a TradFi AI bag. I don't think it does. I think this is obviously just like a narrative play. And will any of this stuff ever actually play out? Like I don't know. Like I think there's like there are a lot of interesting cases for crypto kind of popping up in the AI world because we are seeing these cries to like censor particular things, and there's people decrying lack of like transparency in some of these models, and a lot of the same stuff we heard about in money, we're now hearing about in AI. So it's almost certainly though going to be like one of those things where we like overestimate the short term and underestimate the long term, and all these things probably go like mega multiples and then go negative 98% down this cycle.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean they're not interesting plays. Like if you are kind of like an active, a bit of a degenerate in the space.
So let me ask you this, because I think Nvidia, for instance, has already had like a massive run up. Like
yeah.
Armand and I got in a long time ago. Like my cost
Decade
base
ago.
is my cost base
was yours?
is $30 a share.
I think we talked about this. Mine was too.
Yeah, so
Somewhere in the 30s.
it's at
40s.
$800 now. I don't think that Nvidia it mathematically can't 10x from here. It can like 2x at most.
I think it can be what's the market cap right now?
2 trillion. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I can
something
definitely see it being
ridiculous.
like a $5 trillion company.
but then like let's look at Render, for instance. Just use that as an example. Like Steven was talking about Render months and months ago, and he's had like a massive run up. Like, is that the same idea where it's like you can't actually get the 100x out of Render anymore either, right? Like,
Yeah, Render's not going to 100x. Probably not. Like it is kind of like an interesting question. Like if I can see a world where we do get like a real melt up. Like I have posited this idea that like the 2021 market was just kind of like the test pump, and actually there's just like a much larger move coming, and in retrospect that'll just kind of look like a retracement, and then before like just this generational max stupid blow off top kind of thing, right? And I can see a world where like Bitcoin goes to 10 trillion or plus, and maybe something in the AI space actually does make a run towards the 1 trillion mark. Like there is like some small probability where I can see that happening.
Like this.
But like, yeah, I wouldn't be banking on like a render doing 100x. But there are probably some bags in that. Like if you want to go dumpster diving, right? Going dumpster diving in AI coins right now is just like,
Okay, so we talked about this on Irresponsibly Long, Filecoin as like the decentralized storage of data for AI. But then
I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, there's this kind of like third category of coins, which is that coins that existed in their own space before, but now that space has overlap with AI, and Filecoin's a good example of that. And Arweave, like which we talked about a few weeks ago on the show, and it is I checked Arweave the other day, it was like $26, and I swear to God, it was like $6 when we were talking about it a month ago. So I was like, ooh,
so Filecoin was like
bigness.
at $8 or something last time I looked, off of a high of $200 or something.
Filecoin's top is pretty majestic. Yeah.
But then I was looking at the market cap today of Filecoin, 4 billion already. Like,
Really?
is this thing gonna really fucking go to like 40 billion?
You're
Like,
saying it was though.
I think there's something wonky going on with like the token supply because I think
I think you're limiting yourself because I think in a world where like what's like Home Depot worth like $300 billion. I feel like in a world where like a hardware store is worth 300 billion, like people can grasp like future of all like AI tech coin being worth hundreds of billions, especially in like a environment where everybody's being really 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 dumb.
well, I don't think you want to compare Filecoin to Home Depot, but you can compare it to like Dropbox or like Box,
Yeah.
which is like 8 billion.
But I'm saying like the idea that some of these companies are worth hundreds of billions still sounds crazy, but there's tons of them, right? Like I think it's just like a psychological barrier in your head because you're like, well, ETH is like hundreds of billions. Why would Filecoin be worth hundreds of billions? But if ETH is suddenly worth 2 trillion, now you're like, the market again, like keep in mind the market in crypto is mostly valuing stuff just on a
God.
relative basis to
To
like
itself.
Bitcoin or whatever, a comp
Wild
is.
to think still Coinbase is like a what, $30 billion.
Yeah, Coinbase.
Wild.
Okay, Coinbase is still the most obvious play here.
Right.
We talked about this on Irresponsibly Long. We talked about it on Alfalfa, but they earned $17 per share at the peak of the last cycle. They're going to earn more at the peak of this cycle.
Mhm.
You slap a 30x multiple on those earnings. That's a $600 share price, easy. It's at 200 today.
So that's sort of like a base case for you, basically, is 600.
I think it's base case.
Yeah, you're just and then like I've been saying $1,000 stock for a while.
Yeah,
And
What's
I think
it
it
at
is
right now?
200.
about 200.
200?
200.
It's
Yeah.
about
A little bit of a dipperino today.
yeah, it's at a 70% discount, man.
So much bull talk and bull energy at
I
this
know.
table.
It's just
It scares me a little bit. I do get a little
whenever
nervous.
yeah, but like whenever I think I'm like getting a little over my skis, I pull up like the total 3 chart, which is like all altcoin market cap besides Bitcoin, aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that thing is just like it's not even close to prior all-time highs, and like I think it's going to rip past all-time highs and beyond, and then you start like thinking about what that means for the valuations of some of these things. Oh my god, it could get so nuts. And keep in mind, like we have this just perfect alignment of all of these like macro things that are happening. We've got
Yeah.
you've got your ETF and the advent of like just the institutional DCA, like just this money consistently flowing into the asset class. Fed hasn't even started cutting rates yet. There's an election this year.
Oh, I agree.
Janet is obviously rigging the economy. She's been fighting Jerome for a while. And then like Trump's probably going to win and fire Jerome and just put in some guy who keeps rates at 0 so that he looks good.
Yeah.
We're going to gut the whole regulatory apparatus. Like Gensler is going to be gone. Like and then
I'm
there's still
optimistic.
trillions from COVID just sitting there and like cash basically that still has to flow into all of these assets. It's wild.
Well, I want to talk about something. So, like, when this starts to happen, there's a bit of euphoria in the air, and then people start to think forward in terms of their lives and how it affects them. And like, okay, this bet I've made on this technology is working out, and I'm looking at my portfolio and it's working out. And they don't want to make the mistake they made in the last cycle. Tom Nom Nom was talking about this in the Money Channel of our Discord, and just like talking about reaching out to other people and connecting with other people and talking about exit strategies, like how, when, how to support each other with like uh, timing, obviously, but also like, well, then what? And I brought up like, I think it's really important to ask yourself like, okay, you're going to sell because you want to take profits because you don't want to watch your portfolio tank 80, 90% again. I get that, but what are you going to do with it?
Oh,
So
good
if you
one.
want cash, I understand that. So I want to talk about this idea of like, okay, is it because you want to realize some gain because you want to make a difference in your life? You want to help out your family, or maybe you want to buy a house, or you want to do something like that? Or is it because you just don't want to watch your portfolio fall? So you're like, I better cash out. But then unfortunately what ends up happening is like you're sitting there watching, you mistimed it. Bitcoin and ETH keep going up, and you're like, "Fuck, I'm missing out." And then you're struggling with what to do. And let me find something that has higher beta, and you can't really find it. Like, damn, I should have just stayed with what I had. So how do you guys manage to think about that?
Oh man, you bring up such a good point, dude. And as somebody who manages money, the first thing that I notice about what you're bringing up, what you prompted, is that there's so many different personality types and like goals and objectives with their portfolios and what they desire. So I don't think there's an actual right answer to this. It's like what's right for you. But I would probably think that for anybody out there, if you're able to like make what your version is of life changing money, then you should probably like take profits at that point. To what degree, that's like up to the individual as well. Like what degree you want to take profits, but like at any point where you've made life changing money, I think that's a good place to like take off the table. And that's a moving target because what's life changing is different for every person.
Yeah, and I think there's like your brain lies to you in that moment too, where it's like you have life changing money on paper, and you're just sitting there and you're being a bulltard, and you're thinking like this is only going to keep going up. Why would I sell right now? So you start to get greedy about all of it in general, and the next thing you know, like I know multiple people this happened to that bought like Shiba, made life changing money, and they didn't sell.
I'll tell you this though. This is like one thing that gives me a lot of solace. I'll bring it back to that quote that I brought up earlier, the Druckenmiller quote. He said like when you see a fat pitch, you swing really fucking hard. What I mean by that, or what he means by that, or how I interpret it is like you deploy a lot of money up front, more than you're even comfortable with. It takes like courage. His follow up quote to that is, "It takes courage to be a pig." And what I like when you like go irresponsibly long on something you believe in, it actually gives you the freedom to take profits along the way on the way out. Because if you've only deployed, like this meager amount that you were like, oh, I like this, then you are playing that game on the back end, like, I got to ride it all the way to the top. But if you've like gone fucking pig mode,
It's true.
then you can like actually take profits out earlier.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've talked about a lot on the show. It's like I like to just go very, very, very big, and then like maybe be very aggressive about getting out early. But I like to be in big because it makes it easier for me to sell stuff, And I take like the same approach. Like even when I'm trading, I like to kind of like size up really big, but then take profits like very quickly and get myself up to a point maybe where I'm like free rolling a trade with like decent size a lot, and just kind of thinking about that. And I think if you're not like a professional, like obviously in a perfect world, you would be a professional trader. You'd be a master of analyzing price action or whatever other flows people like to look at to kind of pick tops and but like most people can't do that, right? So I think you have to have like it's very important to have like a plan in advance and probably like write it down, because in the moment you think that you are going
You
to
have to
follow it
write
and
it
you
down.
don't. You
You have to
always
write
are
it.
just like, no, I didn't really say it. If it's staring at you in the face, like in writing, like I will sell when this gets to this, or when my net worth gets here, because this is going to allow me to do it. Like you do that, and
Dude, if you're
you have to
gonna,
follow it.
if you write it down, you have a physical manifestation of the idea. Ideas change every single moment in the brain. Just because you like imprinted something in your brain and set a price target or a time that you're gonna sell, by the time that moment comes, it's gonna feel completely different.
Can I just like
You have to write it down.
I agree with that, but can I just like point out how like what we just said spits in the face of like what all financial professionals would argue. They would say, "Oh, you got to diversify on your way up or whatever." We're saying do the opposite. Be a fucking hog on the way in and just go fucking hard, and then it allows you the freedom on the back end. Like this is not standard advice.
What do you think about that, though?
I think it's right, but I think it's like you're not going to find this advice
Where does the
anywhere
standard?
else.
Why is the standard advice that?
Because there's just a lot of bitches out there.
The standard advice is that because forever, like people have been having other people manage their money, and most people's like livelihoods and jobs depend not so much on getting their clients rich, but like not blowing them up.
Yeah, that's
So
that's a
everything
great
is
point.
oriented from the perspective of like how do you not lose, right? And if you, I think we had a conversation about this on like a long time ago, and it was a great conversation where we're like, you got to decide what are your goals in life. Like, are you like we had the analogy of being like a dentist versus like a like a VC or something, right?
Dentist or a private jet guy.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you're like I'm a private jet guy, then diversification is dumb. You need to swing for the fences on something that's probably very risky when you're younger, and like hold it for an uncomfortably long time.
Which is probably
and not
like
diversify.
which is probably a startup for most people.
Yeah.
You're fully concentrated in this one thing.
like nobody gets a private jet by working a 9 to 5 and diversifying into a 60-40 portfolio of bonds and stocks. It just doesn't happen. But there are people out there who are like, I don't care about a private jet. I just want to slowly grind my way to like a nice house in suburbia, and I don't want to lose anything. And if that's who you are, then yeah, just diversify all the time. But diversification is a bit of a meme, especially if you're younger, especially if you want to like really swing for the fences and
I
like,
just look at it
and
as
make it.
pure wealth preservation tactic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's a Warren Buffett quote that I love. He says, you concentrate to get rich, you diversify to stay rich.
I made the mistake of following these guys when I was younger
And you diversified on the way
and
up.
diversifying and pulling like a Ray Dalio portfolio as a 25-year-old.
75%
What was
gold.
I doing? You know, and trying to do like dragon portfolios and lazy portfolios and simple path to wealth and all this stuff. I'm like, God. And the arguments are good. They're like, don't worry about it. Just put the money in the system, put it to work, let it work for you. Let time compound your money and you'll be fine. And like, that's not wrong.
It does work
But, like,
over 40 years.
It works over 40 years, but man, we're in the middle of like opportunity zone and young. And so like, you gotta take a little risk when you're,
There are faster horses.
yes, there are faster horses. It doesn't take such proactive management. That was the big mistake. I think, I mean, I don't call it a mistake. I don't believe that, but like that was the insight that I've had is that like a little bit of like active management of your portfolio goes a long way.
I love this because I have this phrase lately, and I don't know if I coined it myself or if I heard it somewhere, but I have this like idea that the universe is always giving you the opportunity to learn things, and you can either learn it then, and if you don't, then the universe is going to give you another chance to learn it. Meaning, it's going to give you another fucking hardship.
It's going to definitely give it to you again.
Yeah, and you just
It's
always
like
have
people
this.
in shitty relationships.
Yeah, just a chance to learn.
They don't learn the lesson.
Yeah.
It just keeps on happening to them, and they're like, I just attract a lot of toxic guys. I'm like, I don't know if that's what's happening.
Yeah, it's like a red flag.
You know, you don't have to be with a toxic guy. No, the lessons keep showing up in life, and until you turn it into an insight.
Yeah.
It's like you can have the knowledge, but you got to turn it into an insight. That's wisdom.
Bingo.
I think it's an Eric Johansson quote. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was you. I don't know if you'd start a sentence with the universe, though. Did you say that?
Yeah, I need to massage it a little bit.
Yeah.
I need your help.
Okay. No,
Need
you
your
would
help
say
to
that.
make it a little poetic for
You
me.
would say that.
But I'm glad we
Yeah.
had this conversation because I actually had a similar conversation with my sister like a few days ago. She was like one of the people who hit me up being like, "Hey, should I sell?" And like she and her husband bought Bitcoin, like in 2017 probably. So they're up a lot. Like then like she's talking to me and it's just like, yeah, it's like a large chunk of their entire net worth now because it is up so much. And she's like, should
But
I
have you
sell?
gotten the text from last cycle when it was like, Steven, what do I buy? And
No.
how do I do crypto?
No.
Hasn't even started.
No, it has not
That's
started.
what I was talking about with some other people recently. I'm like, that hasn't even started. My barber doesn't know that Bitcoin is at 64K and almost breaking.
Yeah, people
all-time
don't even
highs.
know the price of stuff, right?
Dude, I just had a breakfast before our breakfast. I had a breakfast with a TradFi client of mine, and he's like, "So are you still into this crypto shit?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're here for the conference, and Bitcoin has rebounded. It's at 63,000." He's like, "Oh no shit, it's back." Like he doesn't even know. Like people don't even know.
It's because MSNBC hasn't told him yet.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what it is.
Yeah.
Mainstream media. That's where people end up.
The real fun doesn't even start until all-time high price discovery. Because like once Bitcoin goes above 69K, once ETH breaks into the 5,000s, then it's just like uncharted territory. Nobody's underwater.
Right.
Like the sky is the limit. There are no points on the chart that are going to stop price anymore, and then everybody can just really start to use their imagination. And again, when you have an asset class like Bitcoin or even ETH, right? There's no ties to the price. Like, what is the price? It's just like whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. There's no cash flows to hold you down to any sort of reality, which is why these
Super
things
true.
can get so freaking ridiculous because the price is just whatever the last guy paid for it, and that's sort of it.
Governments are coming.
Governments.
I think the governments are coming. It was cool seeing Bukele flexing on Twitter the other day because he bought a bunch of Bitcoin, like 40K or so.
And he was getting dragged when it was
got-
at 30K.
it, like immediately went underwater basically, and people were just dunking on it. But it's like the same people who dunk on like Elon. Like
Was
just,
that
like,
the El Salvador president?
yeah?
Yeah.
There's just like this kind of like pseudo elite journalistic class that doesn't like really produce anything.
Yeah.
Then they're just
Oh my
are
God,
constantly dunking
Sailor.
on
Finger
these people.
pointers. That's it.
Yeah.
Sailor.
Sailors
Just
dancing.
What's up with
Dancing.
MicroStrategy? Like we talked a lot about how this
talked
thing
about
was
that
kind of
trade.
like going to be pointless after the ETF, and it has not been. It is ripping.
mean,
over 1,000.
Okay, so here was the idea with like the miners, is we called them higher beta Bitcoin because they have Bitcoin on the balance sheet and they create more Bitcoin. And then the bull case for MicroStrategy was the same, where they have Bitcoin on the balance sheet and they buy more Bitcoin, right? They always like are constantly buying more Bitcoin, so it's higher beta in that sense. I was under the impression that it was a sucker play because Sailor would always sell MSTR equity to buy Bitcoin. So why not just buy Bitcoin? And I think that probably plays out over a very long-term time horizon, but in the near term, all it is a high beta Bitcoin play.
Fascinating.
Could have been wrong on that one.
Look, you can't pick everything, man. You've done a good job for yourself, but
Yeah, we all have. I mean, we've had a fucking hell of a run over the last like year or so.
yeah, it feels good to just be sitting down and like just being like, oh my god, like it's finally over.
I noticed that you
Yeah.
you play a lot of pickle these days in the daytime. You're not just like eyes bleed staring at charts as much.
Yeah, because like I think we've entered like the don't fuck it up phase, right? Well, it was like before I was very much in the don't lose everything phase. Where the hell is the bottom phase? Optimize the entry phase, hedging risk phase. But now it's just like, oh my god, like it is. The die has been cast. Like we are just. It's sort of written, and yeah, I do need a bit of a break because I have been killing myself for a long time just looking at this stuff. Like I never stop. It's like some people like are smarter than me, and the bear comes and they're like, "Oh, bear's here. I'm gonna go play golf for like a year," and then they come back and it's nothing's changed and they're smart. But like I watch like the whole thing like every day, up and down, up
Should
and
we
down.
get
and mostly down.
should we get back into golf?
Oh
I thought
man.
about getting back into golf actually.
Was that a bull market thing or a COVID thing?
That was a COVID thing when
think it
we
was a COVID
started,
thing.
but Steven was like a scratch golfer before that.
I quit golf during
heard.
COVID because COVID ruined golf. Like I used to
We-
be able to just go to
we
Torrey
came.
Pines and just like and then it was like 6 hours to play a freaking round.
Everyone
and it's
picked up
terrible.
golf. in COVID.
So we have this like beautiful luxury in San Diego that Torrey Pines is like this PGA Tour golf course that we can play as locals for like $25 in the afternoon.
Unbelievable. The sun's like setting over
Yeah,
the
over
ocean.
the ocean.
It's just like,
Like we should probably just do that a lot more,
we
I would-
should. I'd like to get back into it.
and then like not even finish the round. Like just play like 12 holes.
well, that's
and fuck
my
off.
favorite because I can't play more than like 11, 12.
Yeah.
I don't really keep score anymore. Anyway,
No.
it just brings me
Golf
pain.
is not fun when you do that.
I'll never be as good
Unless you're
as I
serious.
was, and
Yeah,
it's
just let it
gonna
go.
be down only.
Treat it for fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that. I just can't find people to play with for fun. Everyone
Yeah.
like Nick is like good.
Yeah, he's like too good now.
Yeah,
Is he like a killer
good.
now?
80s.
He's good.
All right.
My brother's good.
Yeah, he's good.
They golf all the time. I want to golf like once in a blue moon.
Every weekend.
Every week.
They're like
They're golfing.
betting each other and shit.
Yeah. And then and then there's the betting, and I'm like allergic to gambling.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I can't believe I bet Steven. But that's a good kind of bet. It's a steak dinner.
Yeah, those are good
I
bets.
hate gambling money. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do crypto or run a startup.
I don't either, honestly.
I don't get it. I can't
I feel like in
reconcile
another
it.
lifetime, you're just sitting on a pile of treasuries. And
I don't know how I'm not that like Persian poker player with like chest hair out, chain and just like bossing people.
Yeah, are you just like not respected in your culture?
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
Like won't let you into the country?
You don't even like onions, bro.
I don't.
You're a weird guy, but that's why we like you.
Dude, Mina eats onions like potato chips.
That's insane.
Raw, dude.
Did you know that? Did you know that like next to
Yes,
your
because
food?
one time I went to Eric's for like a meal. They were just like had like an onion there. You're
Raw
just supposed
onion.
to like eat it. Like you're some
Yeah.
sort of like psychopath.
With your
And I was
food.
like, what the hell?
With your food, but it's like
insane,
an
dude.
obsession, and
Dude.
you get so chastised if you don't. I am 37 years old. My dad still hasn't stopped telling me to try it. I'm like, and I do it. Last time I was at home, they're like, it's all in your head. Like, just eat it. And I'm like, here, watch. I ate it. It's disgusting.
No, it actually goes really well with
it's-
like gourmet sabzi, like the
I
raw.
can't do it. I don't want raw white.
But the first
it white
time
or
that I
yellow?
ever, Mina cooked dinner for me. We were just
Yeah.
dating at this point. She cooked dinner for me, and it was like fucking spaghetti.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then she had the onion on the side. I didn't know what she was doing, but I heard the crunch, and I was like, "Oh yeah, pass me that bag of potato chips." It was not, dude.
what I
Fucking
like is the
gross onion.
pickled vegetables.
Oh, the what do they call that?
Brain dead right now, so
Damn it, we have that shit.
it's called yeah, I can't do it.
Fuck, we have it in our fridge. It's so good.
Torshi.
Torshi, yes.
Yeah. God,
It
my
is
brain
so
right now.
bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, torshi's amazing. It's like carrots and vegetables and everything, all like pickled for years though. And then like in a Persian person's home, it's like they'll have like this one's 8 years old, this one's 10 years old, and like there's special ones.
Well,
that
I
they'll,
kind of became like
bust out.
I became a fermented food maxi. I'm doing it myself. I'm making my own sauerkraut and stuff, and then
Oh, really?
torshis on the side. It's fucking
Oh,
delicious.
that's amazing. And they do it with garlic. Have you
Yes.
seen when the garlic ages? It turns
Mina
black.
gets aged garlic all the time.
It becomes sweet and soft,
Oh.
and it's insane. Like I'll do the garlic.
You want to have a Iran podcast, you and me?
You guys having a moment over here?
Can we talk about the meetup later?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
if anyone is joining live, and we've had like people come through, give us high fives already, but
I love that the entire chat is still here after you guys just went on a Persian food rant.
no, they're gonna fucking love that stuff. This is alpha,
That's
baby.
great
Talking
alpha.
about this is a 90-second discussion about onion. People
I know.
love
Okay.
it.
Yeah, and everybody's
So-
like, I'm here for it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're having our live meetup at ETHDenver. For anyone who's in town, please join us. It's at Bierstad Lager House, 5 p.m.
Are you guys excited?
We got open bar, baby. Everybody
Yeah.
get involved.
Dude, every time we have a meetup,
I wanna
we-
hear what you
we
guys-
double the audience size. We're gonna have to get a convention center next
Yeah,
year.
we have like 80 confirmed.
80
What is it?
RSVP'd already, which is double our turnout of the permissionless one.
That's
I think
pretty wild.
I think we're
man.
gonna break 3 digits on the just in-person arrivals. People who
Yeah.
haven't RSVP'd. We welcome those guys too.
I'm excited. It's good. It's good. It's. I remember the very first time was here, and we had the very first meetup where we met people in person, and we didn't know what to expect. You know, we were like, okay, like we're finally going to get to meet the community, and I remember we were just like blown away by the conversations, the people, even new people I met last night, where I was just like, wow, like these are my friends.
Yeah,
Like,
we were,
these are the
we were
people I
sitting
want to
around
spend time
afterwards,
with.
like talking to each other, like, oh my god, our listeners are fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
because you
by
just
the
end
way,
up attracting people.
By the way, special shout out to Emma and Matt Meltzer who gave you guys their fucking badges to get into the
Badges.
conference today. You guys didn't even fucking
Yeah.
sign up.
I couldn't figure out how to get the wallet to work. It's so complicated. I thought it just email. It was a very crypto thing, right?
Should
They
I
could just
start?
email me a ticket.
Should I start that the crypto fucking savant can't fucking figure out how to get a crypto ticket
DeFi
to a
lord.
conference?
Oh no,
And
we're
you
not
go-
going to email you your ticket. You have to download this app and then connect your MetaMask. That you signed up with a MetaMask, right?
MetaMask?
And then you gotta. I'm just like, I don't know what I signed up with.
Oh yeah, ready for prime time.
So tonight, 5 p.m. Should we cap the bar tab at any number or just let it ride, baby? Bull market.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
see.
see.
Getting nervous with 80 people
See,
there.
I'm
It's gonna be quite the
probably
bar.
not gonna consume 10 beers. So
Yeah, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody would like to
Start with
sponsor the
one.
bar tab tonight, happy to give you a shout out.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited for it. Yeah. I mean, were you guys surprised? I mean, have you been surprised at like the depth of conversation that you have with people? and like
I'm
how
not
well
anymore, but
people
I
are
was.
going to each other's weddings in the community.
Oh, we got
They're-
invited to
Feach?
Feach's wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Hell yeah.
huge.
North Carolina.
Huge.
This is the tightest podcast community around.
Ooh, I can't wait for the first community love story. That'll
I
be
can't wait
interesting.
for the first
That'll happen
community
one day.
yacht party.
Okay.
That's gonna be my thing.
Dan Simmons, hosted by Dan Simmons.
Somebody's getting a boat this cycle, and they're throwing a. Yeah, it's Dan. Dan's getting a boat. He's I
could see that.
he's throwing a party, and I look forward to it. Someone's getting a jet. I don't know. I look forward to. There's going to be. We started in the Bear, right? So everybody was poor. But at the end of this cycle, I think we're gonna have a couple of like amazing, like one or two people are gonna have like some insane
true.
get rich story, and it's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
awesome. to
you,
see.
bro. You're gonna
No. I'm like optimizing for like the 10x. I'm not like doing full
Yeah, there will be some of those.
dumbass stuff, but somebody's
sure.
gonna somebody's
That's true.
gonna
We've
put
never
that-
even had an opportunity for that. Like,
Yeah, I know. So much potential.
oh
Brings a
man,
tear to my eye.
wow. But yeah, I get excited for the combos. I'm always impressed by how quickly people just like drop into having real life conversations about things that matter that they normally don't have that ability to have that conversation even with the friends in their life. I mean, we're going to talk about this on Bankless. Oh, we should mention that we're going to be on Bankless tomorrow, recording with David.
Let's
and
go.
one of the things I want to bring up again is like that's what this is. If you've ever had that like friend group in college or back in the day where you had those like deep money, philosophy, life conversations, talking about things about your family, your friends, the meaning of life, that's what this is. And if you never had that, then you're even more attracted to something like this community because you're
now
either
you have
getting
it.
it again like you used to have it, or you get an extension of it, or you get to finally experience something like that. There are people that are in this community from like, they live in like Ohio, but they don't have that. And they get to experience it in the community.
And we welcome anybody in with any ideas they have. Just all we ask is you just be cool.
Yeah, never be an asshole.
Be cool, man.
Give you a quick boot if you're an asshole with somebody. That's the
You,
only
you,
rule.
you don't want to see Armand when he's angry.
Yeah, that's true.
Just rips his shirt off like the Hulk and just growls.
I don't want to have to
Grizzly
do it,
bear.
Steven. I don't want to have to do it. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
All right. How you
what
guys
else?
feeling? You wanna bring it home?
Yeah, I can bring it home.
Let's bring it home.
I
Bring
heard
it
there's
home.
a second floor Reiki massage
lounge.
IV
Yeah,
therapy.
you should do that.
I should probably go do that
should
before
do
this event.
Get yourself a sound bath.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
I think I'm just gonna go pound a few coffees. And
I think I'm gonna keep
it a
drinking.
day.
I'm like 4 drinks
This is
in.
all on brand. More coffee, more booze. I'm gonna go meditate. Yeah, I love it. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you.
Yeah.
This will be up on the podcast
Thank you for our live studio audience.
Friday,
Thank you guys.
and we'll be back at the regular San Diego studio on Wednesday at 5 p.m. live. And
I won't be there, but you
Oh.
guys will be there.
shout out to Nick. We miss you, Nick. Nick was in the chat earlier.
I saw him.
Love you, Nick.
Love that he always shows up.
He says, "How hungover are we, boys?" And he says, "Yes, buy the punk, Eric."
Yeah, I know.
By the
yeah.
punk.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
We'll See
everybody.
you next time.
See you.
Peace.
Yeah, we probably stop the stream.